I am going to be cutting up this crochet sweater and turning it into something new. This is the All Frills Sweater. It is my very own pattern and a beautiful sweater, may I say so myself. I think it's adorable. It has a really nice dramatic ruffly frilly neckline and then these really dramatic frilly sleeves as well. I absolutely love the yarn. I love the stitch choice, but it is just something that unfortunately sits in my wardrobe and I just don't reach for it. For me, the All Frills Sweater is more of a statement piece, and whilst I have worn it a bunch, I just feel like I don't get enough wear out of this piece to justify this really beautiful yarn being used for it. And if there's one thing about me is that I am going to utilize the yarn, especially if it's more on the pricey side. So the plan is I am going to frog the beautiful All Frills Sweater and turn it into something new. This is part of a series I'm doing where I am visiting my crochet graveyard and turning all of those pieces into something maybe a bit more functional, reusing the yarn, donating the yarn, whatever the case may be. Also, hello, if you don't know me, my name is Rajan, aka Not a Half Bad Crochet, and if you enjoy crochet content like vlogs, day in the lives, process videos, tutorials, then please consider giving my channel a little subscribe. I have a bunch of vlogs and process videos and tutorials for you to catch up on if you fancy watching them. Also drop this video a little like, leave me a comment and let me know what you think. So here are some close-ups of the All Frills Sweater. It is a really beautiful sweater and I absolutely stand by the pattern. It's not that I don't enjoy the pattern, it's just that this yarn is pretty pricey and it's also a really beautiful colorway, and I just want to be able to wear this color palette or this yarn in a different format and make it something that for me is a little bit more everyday and not so much as a statement piece. The stitch is really, really beautiful. I love the dramatic frilly sleeves. I just think it's so fun. And I really do think that I want to make another version of this, but maybe with a lighter weight yarn and maybe make the frills a little bit more understated so I feel like I can wear it on a more day-to-day basis. But we will officially be saying goodbye to this All Frills sweater. I absolutely love this sweater. Like, I'm actually quite sad to be kind of turning it into something else. Like, the stitch is so fun. I love the color combination of this yarn, but I am very excited to turn it into something new, especially something that I know I'm going to wear a lot. Like, it kind of reminds me of dragon scales. It looks so fun. So in terms of what I want to make with this yarn once I frog it, I have a couple of ideas. One of them has kind of been on my mind the most, so I feel like I'm really gravitating towards that one. I keep seeing these really cute like side or diagonal kind of fit sweaters and cardigans and jackets, and I really want to make one. I think it would look so cool. So I'm thinking maybe a cardigan or a jacket of some kind with like a diagonal fastening, whether it's buttons or a zipper, but I really want to make something with that really nice like unique neckline basically. So that is the plan, and the next thing on my list is to obviously frog this. So say your goodbyes. This is the last time that you will see this version of the All Frills Sweater. And if you want to know the lore of what inspired me to crochet this, is that I was watching The Conjuring, and the main character in that, she was wearing this really beautiful like frilly neckline blouse. I think she had like a vest or something over it, and it had these really nice frilly sleeves with this frilly neckline, and I saw it and I was like, I want to make one of those. So then the All Frills Sweater was born. And of course, if you do want to make your own All Frills Sweater, I will link the pattern in the description below. I'm frogging my jumper. I cut it. It's happening.
Oh shit.
It's happening. Ah! Okay, so this has taken me a very long time. I think I've been doing this for about 2.5 hours. I haven't even finished. I've got like the front panel left to do. I don't want to continue, okay? I'm getting to the point where I am getting impatient, and when I get impatient I get irritable, and then when I get irritable I'm not like focusing properly, or I'm not paying attention properly. And like when I was winding the yarn, it was like I was doing it really fast because I was trying to get it done quickly, and it was getting caught like underneath, you know, when it goes like underneath like into the gears, it was like getting caught there. So I was like, okay, this is time for me to stop. And I think as well, where I'm obviously trying to frog this, where I'm reusing the yarn, I'm obviously trying to get as much yarn or usable yarn out of it as possible. So I was, especially when I started, I was like finding the seam and then cutting the seam and then like, you know, frogging it from that point. But now I'm just like chopping it. So I obviously don't want to do that because I want and need the yarn. So I'm gonna pause here. I'm probably gonna make a start on the project. Kind of decided what stitch I want to do. I'm thinking like a tall or like long stitch. So I'm basically going to be working vertically, and yeah, I'm thinking like a tall ribbed kind of stitch. It will probably be like back loop only, which is okay by me because it's an Aran weight yarn, so I reckon it will kind of move quite quickly. And yeah, I'm not decided entirely what kind of rib stitch. I might just like make something up, so we shall see what I figure out. I might just do like a little practice swatch first so I don't do loads of it and then end up hating it. So this is the amount of yarn I've got. I've got 2 really big skeins, 2 kind of medium sized, 3 smaller sizes even, and then I've got a bunch of like more kind of scrappy amounts in there. And then obviously I have the full front panel, which I haven't frogged yet. So I've got a decent amount of yarn to start with for now, which is okay with me. And then I'll just deal with the front panel when I fucking need to, because I'm getting annoyed and you can't make me do it now, okay? I'm allowed to do it whenever I want. I think this is okay. I frogged a whole fucking sweater, do you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna take me a long time. And I think I just always underestimate how long it's going to take me to frog a project. And as well, if you've caught any of my other crochet graveyard project videos, which I will link in the description if you want to watch them, a lot of them were like my earlier projects, so I didn't really like weave in the ends all that well, so it was a bit easier for me to frog, whereas these ones I did weave in the ends very well. So I mean, shout out past me, but also like it very much hindered me today because I like the woven in ends were kind of like getting in the way as I was like frogging stuff, so I had to kind of like cut the yarn and then do lots of like untangling and stuff, so it really just added to the amount of time that it took me to do this. So I am going to go plant my butt on the couch and I'm going to start this project. I think I'm going to do a little practice swatch of the stitch that I have in mind. I think it should work. So yeah, let's migrate to the sofa. Okay, so I am currently watching Jurassic World Dominion and I've done a little sample swatch. It looks so fun. So it's going to be like a vertical, this is really terrible lighting, but it's going to be like a vertical ribbed stitch and it looks so good, especially in these colors as well. Like obviously I've done a very short sample, but this is going to look really, really good. So yeah, this is the vibe. That's what I'm going for. I think it's going to look really cool. Because what I'm thinking, and the reason why I want to do like a ribbed stitch is because, have I even said what I want to do? I can't remember. No, I have said. And so basically what I'm thinking is with the straight kind of ribbing, or the straight like ribbed look with a diagonal zipper, I think it's going to look really cool because it's going to be like, obviously it's going to be like straight and then it will have a diagonal zip, so I think it will be like, it will play with the lines really in a really fun way. So yeah, I think it's going to look really cool, especially in this yarn, and now I can actually get started on it, which is exciting. Finally, I feel like I've just been frogging all fucking day, man. It's taken me so long, so now I can actually enjoy myself and do some crocheting. here's a little update. So I've done, how many rows? Probably like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I've done like 14 rows, and it's actually not taken me too long to do all of these rows. But here's what it looks like. It's a bit difficult to see because the lighting is terrible and obviously the yarn is quite dark, but it's got this really nice like rib to it, so it will be nice and stretchy. And I've just double checked the height of it because obviously I'm doing it vertically. And it's fine, it's totally fine. So yeah, I'm going good, and I think it looks really cool. I feel like this is gonna make such a fun piece. Like, it's just gonna look so cool. And yeah, I'm just gonna carry on working. It's going so well. I haven't made too much progress since I last kind of checked in, but I basically realized that I kept accidentally adding stitches because it got to a point where I was like, why do I feel like each row is taking me ages? And it kind of like was looking a bit warped. So I counted my stitches and I somehow had like 6 extra stitches. So I don't know how I did that. So now I am being sensible and I've just put stitch markers at the end. I think it's the slip stitch rows, because I find that with slip stitches I tend to forget about the last row, so I think I was like overcompensating for that because I know I usually do that. Yeah, it's looking really good. I love how the kind of texture on the stitch is coming up. I think the colors look really nice, and I've just had a little measure and I think I'm ready to start doing my kind of like diagonal decreases now. So this is the kind of like scary part but the fun part, and yeah, I'm gonna start kind of giving it some more shape and we're gonna go from there. Yes, I am in some Animal Crossing pajamas, okay? What of it? What of it? They're clean, I'm clean, and I don't want to put clothes on today because it's Sunday. But it's a really cute set. They've got matching bottoms, and then you've got Tom Nook and Isabel, even though I do not like them because they're just capitalists and they couldn't just let me live on the island for free, but whatever. So I started working on the kind of decreases, the neckline for the diagonal part of it, and I think I've made it a little bit too big. So I basically started the decreases about here, and they would probably ideally sit around there so it's not like super close to my neck, and then obviously we'd be doing our, you know, decrease all the way down. And I don't know what fastening I want yet, whether I want buttons, whether I want a zip, so I kind of need to account for a little bit of space for like potentially some ribbing. But if that starts about there, this basically wraps like all the way past my armpit, like it's like kind of on my back, which I think it will be a little bit too big if that's the case, because I am going to block this as well, and I want to just account for a little bit of wiggle room with the blocking. So I think I need to frog it just the tiniest bit, which is okay. These rows are quite short, so I don't think it's going to take me too long to catch up. But here's just a little close-up of what the stitch is looking like. It looks so fun. Like, the stitch is really nice, and considering I just kind of fucking made it up, like I think it's quacking up really nice. It's like slightly textured. You've obviously got that rib look, and then this is the back as well, so you can kind of see the lines in the back, but the rib row is a little bit more prominent on the front side. It's such an interesting combination of colors. So you've got like some dark blues, some purples, there's some like lighter blues there, some pinks, some like reddish tones, and some orange as well. Like, this is such an interesting color combination, and I love working with this yarn because every time I'm using it I'm like, oh, I can just do a little bit more. Oh, what color's coming next, you know? And obviously I can see it coming out, so I'm like, oh, how is it going to sit with the rest of the colors, and like how is it going to kind of pull together? But it looks really cool. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. But yeah, I'm just going to continue working on this for a little while. I'm obviously going to frog it and then just kind of redo the decreases, because as well, like as kind of sharp and dramatic as the decreases are, they're not decreasing fast enough for me, because obviously I want it to be quite a sharp, you know, decline that is almost like I want it to start like here. So I think I actually might, I don't really know, I think I actually might just kind of start decreasing almost like straight away, because that will give me a little bit more wiggle room in that sense. And obviously if I'm doing the back panel like just all straight, it's not going to have any decreases. It should marry up size wise. So yeah, I'm just going to fiddle around with it and see how I do. Okay, here is my little update. We have a very sharp, you know, decline. I do still think that I've made it a tiny bit too big, so I did frog it and then I started my decreases a little bit earlier on. I'm trying to think like whether this is actually an accurate size or not. I don't want it to be like right up against my neck. This is the top of the decreases, which will sit at the top of my shoulder, and then it kind of wraps around here, but then it is starting to wrap around my waist a little bit. But I just don't really know, because the ideal situation with that would be decrease all the way to, you know, to the corner, so it would create a kind of corner. So if that's the case, I would need to basically start decreasing like immediately and not have this entire part. Part of me was like, oh, shall I frog it again? But I think I'm going to leave it for now, and then worst case scenario, I can just undo this slip knot, the slip knot that I started with, and then frog until I get to the point where I started decreasing, which I think will be okay. I'm really not sure, because I'm trying to figure out like a way to do it. I just don't think it decreases quick enough for me to be able to do a whole kind of from start to finish, you know, in the corner, you know, diagonal line. I think I'm just, you know, I'm just fucking around. I'm figuring it out, and it looks really good though in terms of the actual stitch and the color palette and stuff. I really love how the colors are all pooling together. I'm just gonna keep going and figure it out, I guess. Okay, so I have a little update. I finished kind of all of my decreases to the point where I have no stitches left, and I'm just trying to figure out my sizing. So I've just folded over the kind of excess bit that I did for like my shoulder and like the part to wrap around me. So this is going to be like the end of the zipper, right, where I do the zip up or the buttons up. That's going to be the start of it. So if I have this like all the way over here, I don't really want it to kind of sit all the way around, so I kind of want it to sit about here and then have the starting point of the decreases like at the top of my shoulder. But obviously I still need to make sure that this part like wraps around my body, because if you're plus size and you get told to measure just the shoulder part for a front panel, that's not going to work. You need to make sure it wraps around your bust and around like your stomach and the largest part of your body basically. So top tip for you there. Yeah, so I'm just trying to figure it out. So if I want my kind of zipper or my fastening or whatever to sit about here, because I don't want it to, I still want it to kind of be a key feature of the pan of the piece. The panel would still fit me comfortably. It still kind of sits right underneath my armpit and it won't be too small. So I actually think this kind of works. It's funny though, because obviously I was debating on whether to do a pattern or whether to do a video pattern, and I've decided against it, partly because I just want this for myself. Sometimes I just want to create something that is the thing that I want to create without making a pattern or a video pattern or tutorial or anything like that. When I was kind of debating it, obviously I was like making notes along the way just in case I did decide to do a pattern, but I was like, funnily enough, I don't think this would work for slim people. I don't think this would work if you're not plus size, because obviously it takes a while for you to decrease to the point where you have no stitches left. And if you're slimmer and if you have a smaller, you know, you're making a smaller panel, you're not going to be able to get to the bottom point in time. By the time you need to make a smaller panel, it's going to be like here, and you have however many stitches left to go until you are at your point. So funnily enough, if I was to have made this pattern, it wouldn't be size inclusive in the sense that it's not including plus size people. It would be size exclusive to straight sized people, which I actually thought was quite funny. And low-key part of me was tempted to be like, this is for the fat bitches only, but I'm obviously not going to do that. So so that's just something I found quite ironic. I think like now I've kind of tested it out, it looks really cool. So in terms of the height, I think I've got a really good height. I want it to be almost like a hoodie length, like jacket length. So this is where my hips are, this is kind of where my jeans are that I usually wear, and then with a little bit of ribbing it will sit just past my hips, which is perfect. And now I basically have to figure out how to do the other panel, so the bit that's gonna kind of go in this space, but then I also have to figure out a neckline as well. And then I also need to figure out what kind of collar I'm doing, if I'm doing a collar. Am I doing ribbing? Am I doing a collar? Am I doing buttons? Am I doing a zipper? I don't really know. Part of me is tempted just to do the back panel because it's just going to be straight. I know that if I just get the hardest parts done first, it won't be so bad. And yeah, that's my update. So I made a start on the other panel, and I've just realised I've basically done it like the decreases on the wrong side. So that's the front. It's going to be on my left side. And I've started the decreases here so that it goes like this. But if we kind of match it up with the other panel, I need the decreases to be at the bottom so it kind of mirrors it, not for them to be at the shoulder bit. And obviously if I turn it that way around, they're going in the opposite direction. So, and there is a front and a back side with this stitch, so that's the back side. I've already done like what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 rows, which isn't too bad. And I'm glad that I noticed it now, because when I was doing it I was like, is this right? I was doing it in the evening and it was getting a little bit late, and I was just like, I don't know if this is right, but I'm just gonna keep going. And then I was like, I should probably check. But in terms of a neckline, I don't really know. Oh, I need the decreases to be going from the bottom and then diagonally up, and then I've got to make this part at the top to kind of cover my bust and my shoulder, and then I can start doing a neckline and then marry it up with this side for however I'm going to fasten it, whether it's with buttons or a zip.
I think it's going to get a little bit complicated.
I think with this part, or this panel in particular, I think I just need to like be checking it a little bit more regularly, because even with this one, like I was like, oh, I'll just crochet for a little while and then I'll check when I need to do the decreases, sorry. And I obviously needed to do the decreases a lot earlier than I was expecting to, so I think the same thing is going to happen with this panel, and I just need to be aware of it, just need to keep an eye on it, which is fine. Yeah, I think it's going really good, and I'll keep you posted. did it. The yarn was so tangled. That literally took me like 45 minutes to untangle all the yarn, and then I was like, no, I don't really want to cut it off. And then it just got to the point where I was like, I have to fucking cut this off, because you know when sometimes, obviously this is from like a frog project, and it kind of like, you see here where it like catches on itself and it kind of gets stuck on itself. That just kept happening, and the yarn itself was almost like twisted as well, because obviously where I frogged it and then just wound it up immediately, I think it kind of like twisted on itself and like curled up a little bit, which is fine, but oh my god, it just took a lot longer to untangle it all, but it's okay. I have been working on my second front panel, and this is kind of where I'm at so far. So it goes on this side and it's got this like diagonal bit to meet the diagonal part on the front panel, and I've just been trying to figure out what to do for my neckline, because what I was thinking initially and what I had on my little sketch was that this panel would basically, I would create a neckline that goes like this and then create like a straight edge to then obviously join up diagonally with the other panel, which is just like, you know, a diagonal point. But my thinking is that if I obviously create the neckline with the second panel in its entirety, when I'm doing up my fastening or my zip or whatever, it's gonna be on the top of the neckline as well. And if I don't want to have my fastening done up all the way to the top, and I want it to be maybe open here, the kind of neckline isn't gonna have anywhere to go. And then I was thinking like maybe if I put a collar on it, which I'll probably do some ribbing or like some finishing pieces or finishing touches anyway, but I don't really want to put a collar on it so then the collar like folds out sort of thing. That's kind of what I was thinking. And what's really difficult is that I have not seen a single pattern or crochet pattern, knit pattern or anything where it has this diagonal fastening. So it's not even like I can kind of look at like a sewing pattern on like the construction. I'm just gonna wait for that plane to go by. And because I obviously don't have a garment with this kind of fastening existing in my hands, I can't look at the construction of that garment. So I've just been like finding pictures of garments with a diagonal fastening and just trying to like fucking zoom in and like try and find like how it's constructed, because there are a lot of them that are like cardigans and jackets and like heavier coats and stuff. And for me it's like I think I'm veering towards wanting a zipper fastening, so the zip goes from one corner all the way up to the other corner. But then yeah, I'm just struggling figuring out the neckline a little bit. I actually don't fucking know, and as much as it's fun just kind of like pissing around, I do obviously have to concentrate quite a lot because I am figuring out, look at this fucking yarn, look at this yarn, this giant knot. This is what I was dealing with. It's gone so like fluffy, but which is fair enough because obviously I've frogged it from something. But this part in particular, it's almost like it's untwined, unwound, unplied. I don't know what the correct term would be, but that's kind of what it looks like, and that's what I was trying to fucking untangle. Anyway, yeah, so I don't really know what I'm doing. That's my update. It's going well though, like it looks really cool and I love the colouring. I love the way the rib stitch looks. I love this kind of weird stitch that I've made up as well. Like I think it's gonna look really cool. I just obviously have to concentrate quite a bit, and I just don't really like concentrating. You know me, I like to crochet and just let my brain turn off, and obviously I've had to turn brain on, and brain on not always work good, and that's okay. But I did over the weekend I went to visit some of my friends. We had like a little belated Christmas and birthday kind of get together, and I didn't want to take either of these panels on my journey because I was like, I need both of them to be able to figure out what kind of neckline I'm doing. So I made a start on the back panel, not a huge amount, probably like 15 rows ish maybe. As well, what I'm also struggling with is that I have only seen pictures of this kind of fastening where the zip or the buttons have been done up the whole way, and I want the flexibility of being able to have it done up all the way but also have it done up like halfway or 3/4 of the way, whatever. So I think that's potentially where I'm kind of struggling because I want to have both. Maybe I can't have both, I don't know, but I think I'm going to look at some more pictures. I think I'm only going to be able to figure out whether this is going to work or not is when I finish the back panel and then connected both the front panel and the back, and both front panels to the back panel, and then I can kind of put it on my body. I think that, and then figure out like where the zipper or the fastening or the collar or ribbing or whatever would go. So I think that's going to be the time where I will have realised whether this is a good idea or not. So pray for me, I guess. Let us hope, let us pray. Okay, so I pivoted again, to nobody's surprise, and I basically decided to attempt the kind of like round neck that I was originally gonna do. So here is where I'm at. It looks fucking insane because it does. This is kind of where I'm going with it, and then it's just gonna go up. I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work. That's all I have to say. And I mean, it's going well, and I think honestly I'm having a really great time just kind of figuring it out along the way. I think this is the first time that I've crocheted something just for myself, where I haven't been doing a video pattern or a tutorial or a pattern. I've not been following someone else's pattern. I'm just kind of like figuring it out along the way, and I haven't done this in such a long time, and I forgot how fun it is. I forgot how freeing it is, and I think like I kind of sometimes put a bit too much pressure on myself to be like, no, I'm going to like make a pattern, but it feels nice to not have to do that, which is great. But yeah, that's my update. What's up, homies? It's been ages, or it feels like it's been ages since I've done an update, but did I just drop something? No, but it's going well. So let me show you where I am at. I finished off my back panel, and I decided in the end to not do any decreases and stuff, partly because I couldn't be bothered, and partly because I don't think it's going to make a huge difference, to be honest, because I'm not doing like super thick chunky ribbing. If I am going to do any form of ribbing for like the collar, it's going to be quite short, so I don't think it's going to really make a big difference to like how it sits on the back of my neck. And then I attached the kind of second panel to the back panel, and honestly this kind of neckline I'm still a little bit unsure. Like it fits comfortably around my neck, but I'm still a little bit unsure as to how it's gonna look with the kind of zip up fastening, like how it's actually going to look. So this part I am fine to kind of frog and redo if needs be, and I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, because as well, where I'm not like joining this to anything, I can fix this later, you know. And then so my other front panel, I basically I think I mentioned that I made it too like wide on one side, so it goes diagonally like this, and then I basically added too much like shoulder, so I'm frogging it from that point pretty much. And because I'm obviously frogging it like backwards, it's taking ages because I'm having to like, I can't just like pull on the yarn and it unravels. I'm like untying it, you know. So I started, it looks crazy, there's basically a hole in my piece. So once I unravel this, because obviously I won't really have like a shoulder bit to attach to that panel, it's literally just going to be like, I think I left like 2 rows, yeah, like 2 rows that I will attach to the back panel. So I think honestly this is going to take me a little while. This is only, I've not even frogged 1 whole row, and that took me probably about 20 minutes. I think what my best bet is to at least try and like detach this part from this panel, and then I can just deal with this later. Who knows if that's going to bite me in the butt, but that's what I'm gonna do. And then I can at least then just attach this and then figure out if like the actual panel is correct. Because remember,
I don't know what I'm doing.
This kind of construction is obviously completely new to me, and it's so interesting because I was talking to my partner about it because he was kind of checking in on how it's going with the project and stuff, and like it's going well, but I am really enjoying not knowing what I'm doing. Like part of me is I am enjoying it for the most part. There is like maybe a 0.5% part of me that is like, it's a little bit annoying, but I am thoroughly enjoying having the creative freedom to do whatever I want. And I think because this is the first time I've crocheted something in a long time that's not someone else's pattern, and I'm not doing a video pattern, nor am I doing a written pattern for it. So it feels very nice, it feels very freeing. I'm thoroughly enjoying the process. Sometimes I forget that crochet is an art form and it's really fluid and I can do whatever the fuck I want. I'm enjoying myself, and that's all that matters. I'm also debating on how to do the sleeves, because I don't know if I want the sleeves to be worked, you know, long ways, or if I don't know, or in the round basically. And I also don't know if I want to do panels or if I do want to work in the round. So I'll figure that out obviously a little bit closer to the time. I'm in no rush to kind of get this done. And then as well, I was thinking about like the fastening that I want, and I'm thinking a zipper, but like a gold zipper, like a metal one. I think that would look so fun. I low-key kind of want one of those zippers that undoes from the bottom as well, so it would look like, so I could kind of do it up like just kind of halfway or something, like just in the middle sort of thing. I think that would look really cute. I don't know where to find those because I can't say I've found any of those kind of zippers like in Hobbycraft or anything, and then obviously it would depend on the length and blah blah blah. So it's a bit annoying with zippers, especially like an open-ended zipper, because I've got to get it open-ended and it's got to be the correct length, and it's got to be the exact correct length, including any kind of like ribbing or anything that I'm going to be doing. And then I obviously want it to look cute, so ideally want it to be metal, I want it to be gold, and then the kind of plasticky bit that comes on the side, I'm like, well, there's an array of colours in here, I probably would want to go for maybe black, and then on top of that I potentially want one that's like got a double zip. So I'm asking for a lot for a single zipper, which is fine, and so if I don't find that exact thing, I'm okay with that. I am shooting for the stars, so hopefully that kind of zipper exists and it's not 50 million pounds and doesn't live in another country. It's going well, I think. I will not know until you know, and then when I know, you know. So when you know is when I will be able to tell you. Does that make sense? Did that make sense? I don't know, anyway, whatever. Okay, so we are detached and joined. So we're detached and then we're joined. This is where we're at. It's the same day. I've just put my jammies on and it's gotten dark. I haven't even looked in the mirror, so I don't even know. But this is kind of it on my shoulders. This is the bottom. Then we'll have this bit. We're gonna have a zipper going up here. I think, guys, I think I did it. Like, I think, like, you know, structurally, did I do it? I mean, it looks correct. And then, like, yeah, so I'll have like a zipper starting from the bottom corner. Let me just join it up properly. Make sure I've got the sizes correct. Yeah, we'll join up. And it'll stop. Wait a second. Wait, it's about there. Yeah. Yeah, this works. Okay, I'm a bit surprised, if I'm being so real. I mean, not surprised, but I kind of was expecting to need to finagle it in some way. I think it's, yeah, then I'll have, if I join this to there, if I join this to there, no, it'll be a jacket, then I'll have my head over it. I'll be able to put my arms into it, you know, like a jacket. I don't have to put it over my head. So don't connect that bit to the top. Then we'll have a jacket. And then when I don't want to wear it open, I mean closed, I can fold over maybe with everything. All right, okay, now I need to decide. Okay, I mean, I think it worked. Okay, that's it. I will see you soon. Hi friends, I'm just doing a try on and it's been a little while since I've done an update, but basically I kind of had a little pause on working on this for a while. Maybe, I say a while, probably like a week, maybe a week and a half. I think because the weather was so warm, I wasn't particularly like motivated to finish it, and I was getting but like a little bit of wrist pain, kind of like in my thumb, wrist to thumb area, and then like a little bit on my forearm. And I think sometimes when I'm doing a stitch pattern that has a lot of slip stitches, like back loop slip stitches, I hold my hook at a slightly different angle and it has a little bit more tension in my forearm and then like my thumb wrist area. So I took a little bit of a pause because obviously I don't want to injure myself long term. At the stage that I took the pause, I think I had done one full sleeve and then I had done like a little bit of sleeve number 2, and then yesterday I was feeling a lot better and I just managed to like bang out a bunch of the piece, and not even on purpose. I think I was only crocheting for like 4 hours maybe, and I finished the sleeve and then I was like, okay, well, I just did it all. I attached the sleeves, I seamed up the sides, I then did the ribbing on both of my sleeves, and I've just finished up the ribbing on one of the sleeves that I like barely needed to finish today, and then I did the ribbing around my neckline. And yeah, we're very nearly at the finishing stage. I just wanted to kind of have like a proper little try on just to see how the fit was coming along, but here's kind of how it's gonna look, obviously done up. I have also ordered a zipper. So obviously my ideal parameters for a zip was metal zip, gold metal zip, double-sided, like double-ended, and obviously it needs to be an open-ended zipper, and then as well the color needs to be like a suitable color palette for this piece. Lots of like quite difficult parameters to meet. It also obviously needs to be like a very specific length because it is open-ended. It's not like it's a close-ended one where I can just kind of like hide it. I do need it to be the exact length. So I found a website called Zipper Station and they had a bunch of really good zips. They had double-ended ones, metal double-ended ones, not gold but brass, which is acceptable. For me, I just wanted like a dark metal, I just didn't want silver. And they had like dark colors that would suit this, and they had exactly the measurement that I needed. So I ordered it yesterday. It is like Good Friday today. Is it Friday? Yeah, it's Good Friday today, so it is Easter weekend, so it's probably not going to arrive until like the end of next week, like next Friday I think, or maybe even like the weekend, next weekend. So it's going to be a little while till it arrives, and I don't know if the fit in terms of like the neckline is going to be correct until I do the zip, basically. So I've done basically everything that I can up until this point. What I might do is just kind of like join the two pieces together with some stitch markers, just so I can kind of get like a rough guide or rough idea of like what it's actually going to turn out like. But yeah, I'm really pleased. I've done like some very small short ribbing around the collar, so this will kind of be where this sits. But I think it looks so good. Here's the back. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm gonna just spend some time putting the stitch markers on and then I'll show you what that looks like, but it's going really good. Okay, so this is kind of what it's gonna look like done up. I am really pleased and I'm really impressed. Like, this has turned out way better than I could have thought. Got yarn in my mouth. But yeah, this has turned out so good. The kind of fit of it is exactly what I wanted. It's a really nice steep diagonal. I think with the zipper it's going to look really good, because as well I went for like a more chunky zipper, because for me like the zip is like a feature of it. So I didn't want to like get a really small dainty one to kind of hide it. I want it to be a featured part of the actual finished piece. But it's really good. This is kind of what the neckline is looking like, and I think when it's done up, I think there is this kind of almost like gap here where it's like this needs to be kind of brought up a little bit higher. And the thing is that it is the right length because it's meeting my shoulder on the kind of decrease side, and there's no way to kind of make this higher. So I think either I need to have a little rethink as to like what's going on here. And what I did as well, because obviously where I've done like the ribbing and I've done like my row of single crochet before I did the ribbing like around the neckline, I basically ended it on this part so I can undo like the last few rows of ribbing and then the last few rows of that single crochet, so that if I do need to frog this part of it to redo it in some way, I can. I don't have to undo all of the ribbing that I've just done. So that was very smart on my behalf. Yeah?
Bye, just getting this, like,
I'll say bye. Wait, do you want to look?
Oh!
Yeah, it's cool, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's sick.
So let's put the stitch markers just to see what it looks like. But yeah, I think it looks really good.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
It looks fun, right?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay,
Bye, love you.
Okay.
I was just having a look to see if, because one of the things that I really wanted to be able to do was to be able to have the zip open like halfway in case I want to not have it done up sort of thing. And I do think that that's just not going to work. I mean, I'll try it obviously once I redo this bit. It might work, but I just don't think that this kind of neckline is going to work in both of those ways. So I'm fine with that. I am okay with that. And I think it looks good done up. You know, I think this looks cute. I'm gonna go test it out and I'll keep you posted. Hi friends, I feel like I've not done an update in ages. Partly because I was waiting for my zipper to arrive, and partly because I started a different project and I was working on that, and I was just not as motivated to finish it because the weather has been getting a little bit warmer as well, and I really wanted to work on the other project I was doing. Anyway, whatever. My zipper has arrived. It's a really cute kind of metal brass with a brown kind of fabric around it, and I've just very haphazardly attached it to my piece, and it looks fucking cool. I think the last update I gave was that I was kind of rejigging the neckline area because I knew that I didn't like do it correctly, and I had done like my ribbing around and like my kind of single crochet row around the neckline. So that's what you can see there. It's like half attached still, because I was like, there's no point me frogging the whole thing. I'll just frog it to the point where I need to. So I obviously still need to work on the neckline, but in terms of the zipper placement, it looks really cool. And I do have like a double-ended one, so I can kind of have this a little bit more open, which I think looks really cool. But in terms of finishing up the neckline, I literally just need to kind of carry on until I reach the corner, and then I will attach the zipper, finish off my neckline ribbing. I was thinking as well with the neckline ribbing, because it's obviously it's starting here but then it goes all the way around to this neckline, there's going to be like a little gap here, so I'm not sure if I'll maybe do like a longer ribbing so it can kind of fold over, more like a collar rather than ribbing. So I haven't quite decided yet. I think I'm just going to work on finishing the neckline bit and then attaching the zipper, and then I will address the ribbing as like the final step. I'm also going to do like a row of probably single crochet or something just on the bottom, just to kind of finish it up. I don't think I want to do ribbing at the bottom because I feel like it's a good length, but also then I'll have to finagle doing like diagonal ribbing, and I don't want to, nor do I think that it's gonna add anything to the piece. But overall it looks really, really fun. It's looking exactly how I wanted. Like now I've kind of got the zipper in place. This is exactly what I wanted. I'm so glad. So I finished it. I actually can't remember what my last update was, but I finished it. And then I added my zipper. It looks really, really good. I think it looks so nice with the actual color palette of the yarn as well. And I think it just suits the whole thing really, really nicely. It's like a big kind of chunky brass zipper. It is obviously functional. So I was debating whether to block it or not, and trying it on, like I don't think it needs a block, but I am gonna wash it. So I've woven in the ends already, and I'm just gonna stick it in the washing machine. I know that this yarn is fine in the washing machine. I don't think it needs a block in terms of like relaxing the fibers or anything, but obviously because this is like frogged yarn, I do want to give it a wash firstly, and also just to kind of like, you know, relax everything a little bit. I'm gonna stick it in the washing machine and I will do a try on when it's all dry in a couple of days. But I'm really, really pleased. Oh, also I did like a couple of rows of single crochet just on the bottom, just to kind of give it a nice like finished look, because it was looking a little bit raw. But yeah, it looks really good. And then you've got the kind of double-ended zipper. So yeah, I'm really pleased. I'm gonna go put it in the washing machine and I will check back with you in a couple of days. It looks so good. It looks so good. I am so pleased. I am actually so pleased, because obviously I had a bit of a faff with the neckline. I really was like, I don't know if this is going to turn out how I want it to turn out, but I managed to do it. I'm honestly really impressed with myself. I feel like sometimes I kind of get in my head a little bit and I end up like losing my confidence a little bit when it comes to crochet, when it comes to like garment construction, but sometimes I just need a little reminder that like I am that bitch. I do know what I'm doing, and like I am actually quite good at this, you know. I absolutely love how it turned out. I feel like the stitch pattern in this kind of like vertical formation looks really cool. I love the asymmetrical zipper. I love the sleeves. I think it just goes so nicely with this yarn as well. Like, oh my gosh, I don't have any notes for this. This is basically turned out exactly how I wanted it to turn out. Obviously when I frogged it, it kind of had a little bit of friction against the yarn, so it made everything a little bit fluffy, and so I thought obviously blocking it would really help, which it would have done, but I think just putting it in the washing machine, having that water and the soap kind of run over it, really just helped lay the fibers a little bit flatter in terms of the fluffiness of them. But yeah, I think it's turned out so good, and I feel like it's going to be such a nice piece to just throw on in like a spring or summer evening for when it gets a little bit chilly. And then obviously when it comes to autumn and winter, I can just wear this as like a normal jumper or jacket. I'm really pleased that I kind of took the plunge to frog the All Frills sweater and turn it into something new, because as much as I love that sweater and I love the pattern for it, which I will link in the description if you want it, I know that I just wasn't getting the wear out of it that I wanted to, considering how beautiful this yarn is. So this is definitely something that's a little bit more casual, a little bit more wearable for me, something that I can really see myself wearing regularly, particularly when it comes to like the autumn and winter. Like even just wearing it casually with a pair of jeans I think is really cute. And yeah, I'm really pleased. I'm so glad I get to actually utilize this beautiful colorway now. I also feel as well like not having the pressure of doing a video pattern or a tutorial has really kind of helped with my like flexibility on this piece. I think especially where I was doing the neckline and stuff, like I was really unsure if I was going to be able to turn it into the thing that I wanted to turn it into, and I think I didn't put pressure on myself due to the fact that I wasn't doing a pattern or a video pattern for it. So I feel like if I did have that additional pressure, it would have stressed me out and I would probably have not enjoyed the process. But by not doing that, I was able to just kind of like adapt and figure it out on the fly, really. And I didn't have to think, how am I going to translate this to written instructions and also like various sizes and stuff like that. So I'm really glad that I like made the decision to not do a pattern or a tutorial for it, and honestly it just feels nice to have something that is just for me. Sometimes I get a little bit in my head, considering I'm like a very small creator, a very small designer, and like I'm like, oh, I want to be like the first person to do something like this. I want to be one of, or if not the first. Like, I've personally not seen a crochet asymmetrical jacket that looks like this. I've seen like knit asymmetrical cardigans and stuff, but not anything with this kind of design and this kind of you know, ribbed stitch and stuff. So I was very much like, oh, I want to be the first one. And obviously as well, if I can extend the pattern to other people so other people can make it, that's something that I enjoy. And obviously as well, just so I can earn a little bit of extra cash, you know. But I think as soon as I took away the pressure of me having to make this, you know, translatable in terms of written instructions or adapting it to different sizes, I really just had fun with it. And like, I really kind of miss that element of crochet for myself. Because don't get me wrong, I love writing patterns, I love doing tutorials, and often I find it very simple to do so. But I think sometimes I maybe put a little bit of extra pressure on myself that is sometimes not needed. And so I think I'm just going to be a bit more mindful in the future. And if there's anything that I'm like, actually I just want this for myself, I'm gonna do exactly that. So yeah, I've really enjoyed the whole process. I feel like it's really kind of sparked my love for just creating and having that fluidity in creating. So I've thoroughly enjoyed this process. I love the final outcome. Thank you so much for hanging out with me whilst I figured out how to turn an old sweater into this really fun and cool asymmetric jacket. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, leave me a comment and let me know what you think. And of course, whilst you're here, subscribe to my channel. I have a bunch of really fun, cozy, chatty crochet day vlogs. I have other process videos for different projects that I've done. I do fiber arts monthly favorites, so if you enjoy all things crochet wise, maybe consider subscribing to my channel. I'd also love to connect with you guys, so if you're not already following me on TikTok and Instagram, feel free to give me a little follow. My ats are in the description, but you can find me at Not Half Bad Crochet. But yeah, thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I will hopefully see you on the next one.